Hi, my name is Rohit. Um, my question is, as an audience, we tend to connect with a particular character in any movie or any literature that we consume. But as a filmmaker, that you have created this work inspired by true events or your life, where do you see yourself fit into that picture? Do you connect to any character, or do you see this as a viewer or as an audience?
I mean, the film begins with a line which says, "This is for my dead friends to come back from the night." And so for me, the idea was to make an atmospheric film, uh, not a not a narrative film as such. But you can't escape, people and realism, because this deals with real people and things which have happened. But this is not an ethnographic or a historical project. Of course, it deals with memories, and so pattern is the mother of memory. So the idea is to show some patterns, uh, and uh, the idea was to look at a certain kind of violence and a certain kind of ostracization by the society. And all these characters tell the story of a collective conscience. And you say, all these characters tell the story of one addict, or the portrait of one addict, precisely. So, yeah, and this is true lived experience. And I think your uh, question about me finding myself in the story is there in the first line itself.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Yeah.
Just taking a line from your reply, that you said that it's not an ethnographic project, but then as you said that it is related to your memory, then I would like to know, like, but then while the process of making, didn't it turn out, because the narrative, like somewhere or the other, it came out as a ethnography, like it was set in a like with different characters, their experiences. So how was the process? Like, did it turn out to be, like, can you clearly say that no, it is not ethnography?
See, usually so there's a difference between documentation and art. There's a difference between ethnography and art. There's say the photograph or the painting of an insect in your biology book might be a wonderful uh, painting or a photograph, but it's not art. It describes what it is. My job is not to describe. And I keep saying this, that the job of the artist is to deepen the mystery. So even if I'm dealing with real people, my idea is to keep things open, uh, so that it's difficult to say. Because see, I didn't want to make any kind of judgment or uh, mm, uh, there. I don't have an opinion as such. So I mean, addiction through the monologue of psychiatry. This film challenges that. It tells you that you don't know anything, which is a point to start, to acknowledge that these people exist. So I'm not looking for mercy, I'm looking for empathy and compassion. So that's the difference. And hence, for me, it's not really ethnography in a way, but it doesn't matter. These things are not important.
Could you tell something about the politics of the film? There was a particular scene in which you showed the vigil of CPI, and then this quite a many time of like you mentioned CPI in the movie. Could you tell something about the politics involved?
I mean, these are very.
Was it intentional?
No, I mean, these are very visible symbols of whatever, politics as we see it and know it. I think you can't avoid politics in anything that you do or say, or like it's always there. You can't avoid it. There is a certain politics in anything. It's very difficult to be, almost impossible to be apolitical as such. I mean, the politics of the film is more embedded in the ostracization of drug addicts. Uh, what I was answering before, more than the CPM. Of course, it's happening in a background of a city where a 3-decade-old communist regime is on the verge of collapse. And there are conversations of Shanti Committee, etc., when these three boys talk. So these are there because in late 90s and early 2000s, we were growing up in a situation like that. So today, when, like whatever is happening in the country right now, when I say anything against the parliamentary left, my friends in Delhi and Bombay don't understand what I'm saying because they don't have, I mean, they have no clue of what I'm saying because they have not lived in the violence that we had to face and survive. So it's there, but more than that, what is important is the position of the addict. For example, all the oppressed communities, all the misrepresented communities, be it LGBTQ or Dalits or, so there are a lot of people who are oppressed systematically through generations. And they fight society. Drug addicts fight science. You know? So it's not so easy. Say the reason for which a person uses, you cannot lift that desire from someone by giving him a neuro booster or any neuro psychotropic drugs and whatever. So you're fighting the medicine mafia, you're fighting the psychiatry, you're fighting doctors. It's not easy, So it's a large issue. Say in America, if you're married and your husband or your wife has a problem of drugs, you get a 6-month leave. Here, you can't even acknowledge. Because the moment you acknowledge something like that, say, will a brigadier or a major in the army get a 6 months leave because of his alcohol problem? No. There's no question. Say, in Singapore, if you have marijuana in your pocket, you'll get death sentence. Right? In Philippines, they have massacred people in the name of controlling addiction. The same marijuana for which you will be hanged in Singapore, the same ganja is legal in California. It's a weird world that we live in. So I think that this politics is more important than the symbols of regular things that we see in the film.
We'll take one last question and I think then we can move the rest of the conversation to that side. Okay, two more questions. All right, final 3 questions.
I have 2 questions I was wondering if I could ask both. Can I ask both?
Yeah, please. You have the mic. Who am I?
No, I was just asking.
Yeah,
Yes, questions. Because first I wanted to talk about the cinematography and the direction. It was so aesthetically pleasing. It was really brilliant. I mean, first, if you could talk about the colors of the film, why black and white, and also there were many scenes that just stay with you in your memory. But I want to talk about the scene under the street light where the two guys are trying to find the veins. That scene is, the entire movie is very poetic, but that scene in particular, it's so poetic. I mean, there are two beings who are curious about each other's bodies, but in a non-sexual manner. Because I say non-sexual because it's not leading to sex; it's leading to something else than sex. But maybe you can find sensuality in that also. So, if you could talk about that, the poetry in that, and just the cinematography in general. And I have another question maybe I'll ask later. Thank you.
So when I was writing the film, or even before writing, when I thought that I'll make it, because Tanaji and Kanti and Theo, so primarily Kanti and Tanaji like the kind of video that I was making, and they got in touch saying, asking me if I wanted to make a film. So it began like that, and then obviously I said yes, and they said okay, then send us something. Then I used to talk about these stories to all my friends who have known me for years and years. So this is the film that I wanted to make. But I've been a photographer for like almost 13, 14 years, 15 years now, and the primary sort of comfort I had was with black and white. I started shooting in color in 2015, 16. So yeah, after a long time. So my journey through black and white was more, intense, and I always thought that I'm comfortable with the language of black and white. What it does in this film, because the idea of the film began with black and white as a form, and then I had the black and white, the rain, and this one night as a basic foundation from which the film could begin. So you do something called alap in classical music. So the job of the artist is to build the mood first. Everything else is secondary. So the constant rain and the black and white, what it does, it gives a certain texture, and it's a foundation on which the larger story is to be told. And at the same time, the moment it's black and white, you strip the layers of reality, and it becomes more believable. And the other thing is, with night, it does the same thing. It basically allows me to show you more. In broad daylight, in color, this could have been a film, but it would have been a different film.
Manasa. No, there are no others. There's you and there is yeah.
Thanks. Hi. So I think about the form and color lighting pretty much answered. That's one of the questions I had, because it's kind of evident. I was just wondering, if there is a photography background, because the form and light is very okay. Anyway, coming back to what I wanted to know, would you say there's a theatrical inspiration? Because the piece was talking about like two guys.
Oh, that I didn't answer.
Yeah, so I felt like there's like this performance being played, So at certain parts I felt, maybe it was my way of looking into it. So I wanted to hear about it from you, like if there's any theatrical inspiration.
No, so for me, what is important is I believe in certain kind of magic and miracle. I believe in certain incidents and accidents which happen and they never happen again. So I have to allow myself to embrace it when it's happening in front of me. And hence there were many sequences in the film where things happened just like that, and we kept going. And there are numerous scenes where it's the first take or the second take, because it's not a fancy film, so, and with such big rain machines, the production budget, it just skyrockets. So it's not possible to shoot more. So the plane sequence is just one take. And there are numerous such examples. So more than convincing the viewer that if it's good acting or believable acting, my interest lies in the fact that that's the moment, which includes everything, and the actor is just there. My interest is, are we creating something which has a certain energy that I'm getting kind of attracted to? It's all very vague, I don't know if it makes sense. But it's a very gut level biological feeling that you get, that, yeah, I like it. This is exactly what I want. Even if the acting is not good, I think this will add to my thing. And with this sequence of the needle ballet, what happened was one of my friends who used to, I don't know if there's anyone in the audience who has done mainlining, but if you are doing mainlining, if you are fixing with needles, then you would also know that it's frustrating because you can't find veins. After a point, you don't find veins. So people start finding veins under their feet, in the back. So this friend of mine, he was telling me that he and his friend on one day were on a heap of sand in an under construction place near a cemetery in Calcutta. They were trying to find veins on each other. And some people gathered in the middle of the night thinking that these guys were naked and dancing. And I thought, it's a sin. And I have to do it. So it was written at the set when we were doing, I called this friend of mine, and it came to my mind that I should call him. Because something which happened to him is being shot and all, and the performers doing things. And he was in the race course gambling, and he's lost all his money. So he said, Ronny, I've lost all my money. So how the hell can I reach your place? So I said, wait, I will book you a car or something. So I booked a Uber to the race course, and the destination was 2 hours away in an abandoned mill. So he came and he sat with the actors, but the only thing me and Shreya, we told them that we are only going to do 2 takes, one long and one short. And whatever we get is what we are going to keep. So deal with it like a theater, which happens and then it never happens. So even if it is unfinished, what I was saying before, even if it is open-ended, even if it is unfinished, there is there's some kind of magical thing there, and there's a beauty in keeping that. Even if it's dirty, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, last question.
Well, thank you so much for allowing us to, breathe in that space. And it was so effortless, intimate. My question is, how difficult it was for you to give your name to a character in the film?
I know.
I mean,
Okay.
was it in the script or
No, it was in the script. It was a
later
mistake.
it came? And each time when you watch the film, is it difficult or you want to direct yourself in a different way or the character? How is it?
No. It was a mistake. And it was a mistake where I didn't think that it will be a mistake. So, all the characters have a little bit of me. All of them. Not a single one. But this guy has nothing to do with me at all. And this is like...
Yeah, because it's comic, the one who gets away.
But I'll tell you honestly what happened. And that happens when you work with an ensemble cast, or if there is a teacher, you would know. If you're teaching a bunch of kids, what happens is the strongest at times becomes the weakest, and the weakest becomes the strongest. So that happened in our film also, and this became, there was something on the script, something we shot, then this is the third film. So, to be honest, there is nothing. The name, it's got nothing to do with me, but it's true that all the characters have a little bit of me there and here and there.